Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream of SuperCoach Edge as we head into round 10. And teams have just dropped as well, so apologies for the late jump on, 20 minutes late, because I did say if you were tuning into our card break recently, as of an hour ago, thereabouts. You would have heard me say that I was jumping on at 6, but apologies, I was not able to do so at that time. But we are here nonetheless, so let us jump across to the AFL website and check out teams. Hopefully everyone is going well. I can see people jumping in. Of course, as always, feel free to leave your questions, comments, banter, shit stirring as per usual. That's probably only really applies to Jonas Goat. But we have one of our usuals here, of course. Hoi hoi, boys and girls. Happy game day likewise to you, Slim. Hope you're well, mate. Let us bring up that other screen if it bloody lets us. StreamYard. They've got to make it easier in terms of jumping across to a different screen. Anyway, here we go. We are here. And have teams dropped? Have they not yet? Have we jumped the gun? No, here they are. Very good. Very, very good. Alrighty, let's have a bit of a squeeze. So, rounding things out, first up, we have, obviously, tonight's game. The next game, though, Sydney up against Carlton. We have Braden Campbell coming in. Matt Roberts out managed, which was kind of the whisper across the board. A few ins and a few outs for Carlton. Caleb Marchbank in. Likewise, Williams, Jack Carroll, and Orazio Fantasia. How does this bloke continue getting games? Far out, honestly. The bloke's a liability. How does he get games? He has to have photos of Vossi in a compromising position. Did he walk into his office and he had his pants off or something? I don't know. Was he doing something untoward and took a photo? I don't know. But anyway, he's in. Out goes Lockie Cowan, Matty Cottrell injured, and Adam Shearer injured again. Likewise again, Jack Martin did a calf. That bloke, honestly, is a walking calf injury, much like the human meatball in Prestia with his ongoing hammy injuries. Just absolutely perplexing, these lads. But anyway, we move on. Collingwood and Adelaide. And we have coming in Schultz and Jordan De Goey. Out goes Jeremy Howe injured, and likewise Bytel with that concussion from memory for Kuana, aka Adelaide. Lockie Murphy and Will Hamill in. Out goes Josh Worrell and Dan Curtin omitted. Let's move on to the next game, and it is the Giants against the Dogs. Xavier O'Halloran and Jacob Ware? He's in. Lockie Ash injured and Josh Kelly out injured as well. Both those boys out for a fair while as well. So bodes well for the likes of Darcy Jones and the other dude. Where is he in the team? Harvey Thomas. But Peatling doesn't come into the side as many would have thought. For the Dogs, Caleb Daniel comes in. No doubt, as a sub, of course. Jason Johannesson out injured. And our boy can't even get the emergencies. The old perennial sub. Top draftee. Lordy. Anyway, moving on to Uruk. St Kilda up against Woollyarulup. Geez, you're really doing my head in with these names. Apologies, I'm butchering them. St Kilda up against Freo. Cooper Sharman, Paddy Dow. Ooh, potentially. Yes, we'll be playing his first game. Anthony Caminiti, Zach Jones, Lance Collard, and Matthias Philippou. I'm fully expecting to see Garcia omitted in these names. Hasty omitted, Stocker, Hayes omitted, Seb Ross, Tim Membry managed, and there he is, Hugo Garcia. Hugo is Hugh out. Hugh not given a go. And no changes for Freo. So there we go. Moving on to the next game, Brisbane up against the Tigs. And we have Answorth in for Jackson Pryor. For the Tigs, I see him, the youngster. He's into the side. Camden McIntosh, Steely Green makes his debut. Will be an exciting watch for Tigs fans and for Supercoaches alike as a potential cash cow. Kane McCall, speaking of cash cows, finally in. Get up there. Only took a whole hospital ward worth of injuries from the Tigs to bring him in. But he's in. And Matt Coulthard as well. Sam Banks out injured, Rioli injured, Graham injured, and Seth Campbell injured. It does mean, though, there's no Naismith either, unfortunately, for those of us that still have him. I was hoping that he might come in and get a little bit of a sneaky game, but not to be. Essendon up against North. Dylan Shield potentially making his, season debut, or did he play early on? I can't remember. Nick Bryan and Nate Caddy. And for North, Oh, big boy. There's a big omission here. Will Phillips, who actually did a really reasonable job on tagging Matty Rowell last week. He goes out. So this could be an absolute day out for our boy, Liam's boy, in Merritt. So in comes Simpkin, Bergman, Curtis Taylor, Toby Pink, Dylan Stevens, and Zane Dersma. Out goes McCurch, injured, of course. Phillips, as I said just there, and Hardeman. And we have Yartapulti. Yeah, I got that right. Port up against Hawthorn. Rosie Sweet makes his return. Get up there, lad. And Jace Burgoyne, although we should make mention here that Dante Vicentini is named on field ahead of Jordan Sweet. I'm a little bit worried about that. Just a smidge, which is annoying as well because it's a Sunday game. But surely, if anything, they have the two rucks they're running with. And I don't know if Rosie's going to be making his return either. So, interesting. Ethan Phillips, Marbio Chol, Bailey, McDonald, Chang, Kuth, Jiath, and Max Ramsden, of course. Ethan Phillips making his debut for the Hawks. 102k rookie in defence for those of you, especially that are holding Graham and don't have DPP to switch Graham into the midfield if you're looking for a cash cow mid. Scrimshaw out suspended and Gunston managed. And then for the last game of the round, we have, oh, gee whiz, getting harder. Wallich Morara, we'll say that, up against Nam, which is the easiest one yet. West Coast up against Melbourne. Jake Waterman, Andrew Gaff, Jermaine Jones, Harry Edwards, Jai Cully, Jack Petrocelli out injured, and Harvey Johnson out. Crack a can of the old pig juice, or rookie juice. In for the Ds, Shane McAdam making his debut. Salem comes back from injury. Tomlinson, Fullerton potentially making his debut. Colton Tholstrup and Ben Brown. Out goes Ed Langdon due to personal reasons. Jacob Van Roen injured. And Dan Turner also injured. So that is it, ladies and gents, for the teams. Let us know your thoughts as well. Any ramifications for your own teams. All that sort of stuff. Harry, how are we, lads? How are you, mate? Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. Who would you rather trade out, Howes or Will Graham? Very, very good question. Let me log in to my team on the Chrome browser, and I'll be able to let you know. And we can have a look at my team as well at the same time. If SuperCoach wants to load, my lord. I don't know if you guys have found it as well, but I found the website has been very, very slow ever since they've jumped across their new layout. It's an absolute pain in the ass. But anyway, it's by the by. Let us log in. And that was quick. Alrighty. How's... I think he's got a relatively low break even, doesn't he? So he has a break even of 65. Okay. Up against West Coast though. And then obviously Graham's not going to move at all because he's not playing this weekend. So it really does depend upon who's going to afford you. Because are they the same price? House is $293. Graham is $277. So I'll probably hold Graham for now. If you can, and then move on House. House has probably made as much cash as he could for you. Could potentially still re-energize his cash generation, but I think Graham's not going to, not playing, not going to drop in price. You can obviously move on Graham next week. So, yeah, if you don't need to rely on Howes on field, I'd shift him on. Jonas Goat, Dud Fantasia in Dam. Where the hell is Bins? 100% Jonas, 100%. Doing my head in. As a fellow bagger, no doubt, you understand, because Bins should be getting a game. He's deserved it. All last year, killed it. Didn't even get a crack when he played his first game. He played as a sub. Ridiculous. It's padded out all over again. Handy Garcia dropping like flies, yeah. For those of you, I'm pretty lucky at the moment. Garcia, I could probably, I could use a bit of a loophole with Garcia, so I'm not too unfazed with him being out. But, I mean, we obviously want him to still make us cash. He's made 97.8k, but I don't even need to... Actually, he might come in handy for the forward line in terms of looping. When did the Saints play? So the Dogs play first. Oh, yeah. So I could potentially use it with Garcia, like so. Because I'm happy enough with Wilson and Darcy. And then loop Garcia with Garcia. Yeah, interesting. So it's not the end of the world, but still, we still want these guys making us cash because we want to obviously keep that trading upgrade, downgrade cadence going. Harry Lindsay, trade Graham or Garcia. I'd be trading what Garcia's not what I think he's worth 60k less than Graham. So I would probably punt Graham ahead of Garcia. But it's hard to say because we don't know if Garcia's going to come back into the St Kilda lineup anytime soon. So that's a tough one, mate. Oh, here we go. SuperCoach is asking us for our opinion, which you're not going to get. Apologies. In the middle of a stream, lads. Yeah. Because that's the other thing as well. We don't know when Graham's going to come back. Apparently, well, not apparently, but we know that the VFL aren't playing this weekend. So it means that it's harder for Graham to come back into the Suns lineup without having really any exposed form because he's virtually having a week off due to the VFL bye. So I'd probably, if the extra 60 grand with Graham in price point compared to Garcia helps you get in a better player, which it obviously would, but like especially in terms of a primo, I'd be punting Graham ahead of Garcia and then hope Garcia comes back next week. Garcia is named as the emergency as well. So, yeah, I mean, he's not completely punted out of the side. He's still on the cusp. And no surprise, really, that Ross the Boss had to make changes off the back of that sort of poor form with St Kilda. Julie, excuse me. Thanks for joining us. Interesting at Port, Dante Ruck, sweet on the centre bench. Yeah, I'm a little worried. And Jonas, you pointed that as well. But I think surely, I know Vicentini played well, but the opposition ruck went off the ground. The Cats. So, I don't know. Sweet's the better ruckman, 100%. So, I don't know. If it stuffs me up, I think, if anything, what I could do in my own side is undo one of my trades and then trade out Naismith to Livingston and then put Jackson into the ruck, which is an annoyance if I need to do that because it's going to, again, ruin the trade cadence and I'm not going to gobble a donut 2 weeks in a row. But yeah, let us know if it affects you. Skids Fits, thanks for joining us, mate. Where's the card unboxing? On our YouTube channel, at the very top, you'll have videos and then there will be a tab that says live. It was a live stream, did around about 4:30. And yeah, ended up getting a couple of nice cards, which I'll show you right now as questions, comments still come in. The first one I got, for those of you interested, Chad Warder, Palladium, rookie card, number 225. So pretty rare, which was a nice get. So any Swans fans, any card collector Swans fans, let us know. Happy to work out a deal. I'm really only chasing in this lot. It is the Brilliance, of course. Select Brilliance football footy cards. I am chasing Charlie Curnow and Walshy in this release. And the other one I had, for you Tigs fans out there, the Brilliant Superstars. Good old Koch, my ex-teammate of junior footy, as I said in the stream there. I obviously went on to do bigger and better things, unlike him. No, just having a gag. No, he's an absolute superstar. He's Koch. Was coached by his dad as well back in the day. Also a good fella. Reservoirians, locals, where I grew up. Yeah, nice cards. Anyway, let us move on. Carl Meany, thanks for joining us, mate. Who is the worst bloke in the world, and why is it Ken Hinkley? Our sweet prince's confidence will be in absolute tatters. 100%, Carl. Couldn't have said it any better, mate. And I love your gags in the chat as well. Very, very good, mate. You're pushing Jonas in terms of names as well, nicknames for players. But thanks for joining, mate. Always put a smile on my face. Give me a little bit of a chuckle when you are watching Harry, Lindsay, thanks for joining us, mate. Sorry, you were there before. Same Harry that asked the question about trade Graham or Garcia. McAuliffe, Sullivan, or Revel. I've obviously got McAuliffe already, and I've brought in Revel this week over Sullivan. I'm worried about Sullivan potentially being relegated to a sub at minimum, if not out of the side in weeks to come. So I just think with Brisbane's injuries, there's less chance of his spot being put under pressure compared to Sullivan. It doesn't help him with Jordan De Goey coming back in as well. So, sorry, this Pepsi Max, this is like fully carbonated, like 100%, and it is filled my stomach with complete gas, which is never a treat. But yeah, I'd go for Revel over Sullivan. McAuliffe, likewise, is probably in the same boat now as Revel, the good old sandwich press. Let him cook, as Joe said, if you tuned into our weekly vodcast podcast. With the amount of injuries at Richmond, I think McAuliffe will be given a fair crack now as well. So, yeah, I'd kind of put it down to McAuliffe or Revel. Probably Revel just because he's got that DPP mid-forward eligibility. Really does help you with, especially with the buys coming up. It really is underrated in terms of having coverage across multiple lines with guys that have DPP. So, yeah, I'd probably go down that route and then look to bring in McAuliffe next week. Cheaper price point as well for McAuliffe, which also helps. Jonas, team is in trouble now. Bench DNP, Graham, Reid, McKercher, Manor, Garcia, Livingston. It can turn so quickly, can't it? As you know, I've been pretty lucky. Just realised as well, I could probably use Zach Reid as my loop now, considering he wasn't named. So if Closey goes off his absolute nana, I think the only guy I'd probably bench would be Wanganeen Millera. But yeah, I'm not a fan of when you get to this point where you've got kind of finished lines in defence like I do in midfield, that you have to take a gamble in benching one of your primos. But you know, Closey will have to at least score similar to what he did on the weekend. I think over 105 to 110 plus in order for me to consider moving Wanganeen Millera to the bench. But yeah, to your point, Jonas, I think a lot of people will be in the same boat as well. And this is, again, part of the reason why I prioritise those early cash cows, especially the ones I use my boosts on them in terms of Sharp and Dempsey, and it may have looked a bit silly at the time, but it's helped me in terms of moving them on and generating enough cash to upgrade my team. But yeah, it does turn very, very quickly. So all the best to you, Jonas. I hope you are able to find other avenues with cash cows. So no doubt as well with the sandwich press in Revel. Skids Fits, the bleached a-hole. Are you talking about Warner? Talking about Warner there, I assume. Oh, yes, Chad Warner, that is. And Kochi, yeah. So pretty happy with both of those hits. Should be able to afford me, hopefully, to get in the Charlie Curnow card and the Sammy Walsh card. Fingers crossed. Carl Fisher Z, the forward line Messiah, or a very naughty boy? I don't think he's going to be a Messiah as yet. I'm happy enough to wait another week or two, see how he performs without McKercher there, which, as we saw, is pretty good on the weekend. But yeah, with Sheasel's going to be thrown back as well, you'd think. Less time in midfield for Shees Nuts, which is always a good thing. Elevates his scoring ceiling and floor as well. So I'm keeping a very, very close eye on Fish, but I think, as you can see with my team, I've got 3 spots to fill in the forward line, and they would probably be reserved for Zorko, the Great, aka the Dickhead, the Magician, who else? Rankin, and probably Dylan Moore at this stage. But yeah, see how we go. I don't really like cheese. How are you, mate? How's it going? Hope you're well. Another legend as well. The man, the myth, the legend, ladies and gents. The people who gifted us our very first super thanks through his own hard-earned at us. Like we were strippers on a pole, which is after hours, mind you. But no, we do really appreciate that. Cheese. And you have said as well, OMG, Damo, we finally get McAuliffe. I could cry. It took 30 injuries to get him in. Exactly right. Hospital ward, but he's in. He is in. Tryon, thanks for joining us. Everyone panic and bail on Sheasel. Yes, please do. Please do. No, don't. Keep him in your team. My mate does unboxings on Facebook Live. I'll see if he has Carlton. Oh, that'd be awesome, Skids. I don't know if he would be if he's a Swans man or a Tigs man. But yeah, all I'm chasing in this release is the Kerno Superstars gold card and the Walsh Superstars gold card. That's all I want. She's Nuts is going to play forward. Yeah, I don't think he will. I don't think that'll be the case. Are you referring to the lineups, I imagine, where he's named? Is he? No, he's named at centre-half back, which is not right. But he'll play in defence. I don't think he'll play at forward line. Doesn't make much sense. He hasn't really all season. Won't need to. I'm glad I'm not the only one waiting on Zorka. Yeah, 100%. I don't trust the bloke as far as I could throw him. He's going to break down at some stage, and I know it's going to be when I bring him into my team. So that's really going to be testing my patience and faith. But yeah, he's probably going to be coming in next week, I think, considering his price point. Probably would have brought him in this week if I didn't already have. Sorry, if I didn't have Butters, who I needed to get into my team. But yeah, do not trust him. Hopefully he goes down when we don't own him. Anyway, cheers. We'll see. Rookie Coach AFL, back-to-back streams. Let's go. 100% Rookie Coach. And likewise as well, for those people tuning in, check out this man's stream as well. His channel, should say, on YouTube. Does some great stuff. Started up his own channel as well. So check him out. Give him a sub because he is one of our new regulars. Support him like he supports us. Cheese, Damo, your midfield looks like a dream. I'm stuck with Raul and Anderson. I wouldn't say you're stuck with Raul. I would actually like if I had Raul in my team. He's probably the one guy that I'm missing from my team. But thank you for the compliment on my lineup. Anderson, I'm not a fan of. I think I spoke of previous weeks. I don't know if it was you that asked me. Maybe someone else asked me if they should go for Anderson. I said nope. He does not have the stable floor. And his ceiling fluctuates like mad. So I'm not a fan of him at all. We've caught up on questions and comments already. This is a new record. So I don't know what is going on here. But anyway, if you have any comments, questions, send them through, of course. The game kicks off in, let me scroll up, 46 minutes. So we have a fair bit of time up our sleeves. So as I said, questions, comments, flick them through. Anything else? Likewise, we might just start Q&As of, favourite colour, favourite food, all that sort of stuff. Cheese as well. I also have Sexton, Flanders, Rail, Anderson. Geez, a few Gold Coasters. Closey and Graham. Would you recommend trading one of those two primos out when their buy is coming up if they can't continue current form? I'm confident that Rail's going to bounce back. Anderson, not so much. Be keeping Flanders 100%. Closey, to me, someone that is a really handy player to have as a bit of a swingman between midfield and defence, especially if you don't have a full line of primos in either of the midfield or defence. And Graham, I think, is expendable. I traded him out this week because he enabled me to bring in Butters, which is a bit of a segue here. I will show you my trades if I haven't explained them already clearly enough, but there you go. So Graham goes out for Revel via DPP, and Reed via DPP goes to Butters. So if something like that, if a move like that, for example, Cheese allows you to bring in a primo off the back of getting rid of a Graham, I'd 100% do it. But if there are other guys that you can trade out before Graham, Graham is obviously going to hold his price. He's not going to lose any money. He's still got a low break even. Feel free to keep hold of him. But Sexton as well, he's kept his spot, which is good to see. And again, I just got a text message from the father-in-law, of course, Pistol Pete, who is in our cash league for those people in it. Always mention good old Pistol. Fellow bagger as well. And he's just sent through a text. How does Fantasia get a game ahead of Bins? 100%. 100%. I asked the question. I have no idea. No idea. It's perplexing. As I said, he's walked into Vossi's office. He's been in a compromising position. Pants down, maybe. Something fly undone. Who knows? Who knows? It doesn't make any sense. There has to be something outside of the norm for this to happen. So it's just incredible. The bloke is a liability. Offers 0 to our team. Has done nothing to date. Continues getting games. I think I'm probably in the same realm of getting a game if Fantasia can get a game, really. It's incredible. Anyway, but yeah, to your question, Cheese, to summarise, mate, I'd be keeping Sexton as long as you could. Eke as much cash out of him as you can. Flanders is a primo. Don't trade him. He's probably an F2 at this stage behind Heaney. Real, I reckon, is going to be a top 8 mid, so I wouldn't be trading him. Anderson, I'd flip on the buy. Closey as well if you need coverage. And Graham's expendable, I think, in my book. So, like those ideas, Cheese. When do Gold Coast have their buy, actually? Let me just have a quick squiz. It is not round 12, round 13, 14. Oh, they've got one of the shit buys. Yeah, he's got round 14. So, yeah, one of the shitter buys. So, 100%. Look to switch Anderson if you can. And, yeah, Graham's expendable. Sexton, after he sort of, gets dropped or makes as much money as he can, and Closey is probably the last one I'll be trading outside of the primos in Real and Flanders. Thank you, Jonas. You are a legend, mate. There you go. Davies and Clark are the subs. Of course, Clark is a sub. Ugh, it's a good thing I've got the stress ball you see here. That's your head, Chris Scott. Honestly, give the bloke a fair crack. Why even play him if he's going to be a sub? It shits me. So, anyway, I was going to put the emergency on Clark, but there's no use now if he's the sub. So I might as well just whack it on one of these two guys in the let him cook Breville appliance or McAuliffe. Thank you, Jonas. Carl Maney, Petrarca this week, Stewart this week, and Nicky Dacos to mids briefly, or skip both and hold off for Raul next week. I probably rate Raul ahead of Petrarca. He's had a couple of bad weeks. Yes, he's been tagged, but I don't see that happening every single week. Stewart, I still think... I don't think Stewart's going to be a top 6 defender at the moment. But I think he's going to be pushing for it. If he can recapture his form, but at least he's good for, 80, 90 odd as his floor, which is pretty handy to know you've got that security from week to week. So I still wouldn't discount Stewart, especially considering he's priced at just over 500k. So he is extreme value. So I like him. Petrarca I don't mind, but I spoke about him on the weekly podcast. Just talking about him, he's outside of that one game, that shit game that he had against Brisbane, he's actually had a pretty good floor, like 97, 93, 94. And the ceiling that he has shown has been pretty good. 140, 134, 146, 119, 108 to start the season. So I think Petrarca is good value. Will he be a top 8 mid? I don't know. At the moment, he's ranked 13th. I am banking on him not, but I do think he's going to come close to it. He probably will be, in my eyes, around about a sort of a top 10 type mid, maybe a 9, 10, 11 ranked midfielder. So for the output that he does have, I actually rate him. But where does the value compare to Raul? So Raul is still 598. It's going to drop. Ooh, break even 192. Yeah, as you can see here with Raul's scores, if you match it up with his stats, he doesn't need like massive numbers disposal-wise in order to get these big games, because he obviously loves a cuddle, which is a good thing. So if it were me, I'd opt to hold for Raul instead of Petrarca and, go for Stewart potentially, or go for Petrarca and, not Stewart. But I think, if you're trying to save some money and go for value, I do like Stewart. I am conscious of the fact that Petrarca and Melbourne have West Coast this week. Probably will do a number on them. So, yeah, to answer your question, you could go either way. But, yeah, I'm a fan of waiting for Raul if you can. And, yeah, I wouldn't skip both, I don't think. Depends really what your team looks like, Carl. It's hard for me to say definitively without seeing a team. So, feel free to slide into our DMs or in Discord as well. Sorry, let me just fire up the Discord. I'll whack the link down in the comments section for those people who haven't joined a Discord. Those people who have no idea what a Discord is. It's virtually our online community, which I see we've got a newbie jumping on, which is good. So, Jay Stooner, number 12, thank you for joining us. Let me grab the link, if it bloody well lets me. I feel like an old man every single time I try and use technology nowadays. If you ask my wife, she'll say you are an old man, which, yeah, she's wrong. Generate link, there we go. So here is the Discord link. So it's virtually like Twitter, X, Big Footy. So it's a growing community. There's around about 250, 300 people in there. And it's awesome as well because, you can hit up Liam and myself, but also you can throw questions out there, and such is the community and the healthfulness of our community that they can answer your questions and, help you out on all things SuperCoach. So jump into that, mate. Let us know your team. Post it because we've got a little Discord room called Rate My Team. Whack it in there, mate, and we're happy to help you there. Tag me in. Everything else. Rookie Coach AFL, you're a G. Thanks, brother. I've brought in Stuart. No stress at all, mate. Again, for those people joining late, check out Rookie Coach AFL's SuperCoach channel on YouTube. Does some awesome work. Support him because he supports us. And you've said I've brought in Stuart, backing him in to turn it around. I like it, mate. Yeah, he's bound to turn it around. As I said, he's got a really, really high floor, which is good. Outside of obviously that injury game against the Lions, which in that case he was kind of on track for around about a 90, 100 score anyway. But he hasn't really flashed his ceiling as yet. A little bit worried about that with Holmes. A little bit of an impact on him, I think, this year. But I do think he's going to be someone that you can bring in with confidence, knowing that he is a tried and true primo. So I like that, rookie. Best of luck, mate. Harry, thoughts on Stewart? Worth using a boost to get in? Yep, spoke about. Everyone's talking about Stewart now. Yeah, I do like him, mate. Do like him indeed. Nice cut price option. Cheese, just hoping Graham comes back in next week, but if not, he's in the plans next. Oh, there you go. Yep, don't mind that. Still got Howes 2 holding him, hoping for a decent score if Closey shits the bed. If you're able to loop in any way, shape, or form, 100% do that, mate. You're all across it. Adam, our regular numero uno, how are you, mate? Good to see you tuning in. Flemmo, thanks for tuning in, mate. This is the first time I think I've seen you in the chat, so thanks for jumping on. You've said, how are you feeling about tomorrow night, Damo? As a Baggers man, of course, facing Sydney. I think it's going to be another close game. I can't avoid these as a Carlton supporter. It's like running a marathon being at the game. Wearing my Apple Watch, looking at my my heart rate. Every single game, I think it's maxed out at around about 135, 140, which, mind you, is kind of what it gets up to when I'm jogging. So being at a Carlton game, is it good for your health? Maybe, aerobically. It gives your heart a bit of a workover. Don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but I reckon it's going to be another close one tomorrow night against the Swans. I think, from memory, we actually play well enough against the Swans. Let me have a good look at, is it Footy Wire or Final Siren? I think Final Siren's the one that I usually use. Let us know, have you used Final Siren or Footy Wire for stats? I usually use Final Siren for using the historical matchups. Have they even updated it? Oh, here we go. And they show you historical. Here we go. So this is the website. Of course, I'm getting spammed. So we've won the last one, obviously. Elimination final, which was 6 points. Prior to that, it was Sydney in Sydney. Prior to that, it was Carlton against Sydney, won at Marvel. Sydney beating Carlton at Sydney. Carlton beating Sydney at Metricon, and then Carlton again. So it looks like it's been Carlton, Sydney, Carlton, Sydney, Carlton. So Sydney's probably due, given the trend at the moment. But it looks as though they've had our measure at the SCG, dating back to 2019 when we last beat them there, which was, again, by 7 points. I'm tipping with my head. I'm going to say Sydney, but yeah, I do think that we are a chance, and we normally play well against them. So we'll see how we go. But best of luck. Let us know if you're a Baggers man or a Swans man, or you're just trying to gauge. My thoughts are Flemmo, but thanks for tuning in. Cheese with Jai Clark being the sub. Should I move closely midfield loop with McAuliffe and play Howes on field, or just trust McAuliffe on field? He might be sub too. Yeah. I wouldn't trust McAuliffe on field for that reason. Could be the sub. I think his second game he didn't play as a sub, though. I think his first one he did. Or he might have rolled his ankle the first one, played sub the second. But yeah, I think he might be in line for the sub, so probably not worth that risk. Go with Closey first up, and then loop him with Howes if you can. Alex, thanks for joining us, mate. A great man. Thoughts on Houston v... Excuse me, Jesus. This is some potent pig juice for sure. So it might be a sign that he's going to have an absolute blinder this weekend. That is Clary, of course. Houston v Martin. Houston better by Martin, more of the ball. Yeah, Houston hasn't really been the same Houston we saw last year. That's the thing. Keeping in mind as well that the Dons have the North. But Houston play the Hawks. He scored 67, 93, 112 against previously. Yeah, he hasn't really had that ceiling apart from the game against Freo and Collingwood. Everything else has been no better than Stewart, really. So, yeah, I'd probably go for Martin. So Houston's 581, break even at 149. So he's probably going to drop more in price as well. I know he plays North next week, but both of those teams he doesn't actually average well against. 82, 86, and 81 against North. Whereas if you look at Martin, obviously faces North Melbourne. He scored 90, 129, and 137 against in his previous three. So previous two games have been pretty good. And all over, he's just had a better floor, better ceiling. So I'd be going for Nick Martin over Houston, provided that Martin doesn't stuff your buys. But yeah, Martin's going to be a top 6 defender. So I'd be getting him in. I think Houston will be as well at this stage. But Martin's ranked 5th in defence overall at the moment. Let's have a look at DFS Australia as well, just in terms of any matchup exploitations, especially Essendon against North. Last 5. And so North Melbourne, they concede a shit ton of points to actually the second most to key forward. So you'd think that good old Pistol Pete Wright should have a day out. And they concede points to wing defenders, which is Martin. Yeah, so I'd be going for Martin, I think, in the short term and long term. Alex, rookie coach, keep Howes or trade him out for Brucey. Oh, as in Brucey. I was like, who's Bruce? Oh, the good old Breville. Good old Breville. I'd be going for... well, I think Howes has kind of made as much cash as what he can, really. Like, he might make you a little bit more, but, you know, he's already made you 169.7k, so got to be happy with that. Break-even is 65, so he's kind of at the point now where, you know, his average is actually below what his break-even is now. So, has only really had the 2 big games, 70 plus. So I think in all likelihood, it probably looks as though he's going to start, I guess, stagnating and dropping in price. West Coast, they give up the general defenders. Actually, the 3rd most points. Would he be classified as a general defender? Or a wing defender? Probably general defender. So maybe he does exceed that, mate. Maybe he does. But I think I always look at it in terms of like jump on the rookies, the good cash cows whilst they're there. Because especially this time of year, we can't bank on any more decent ones popping up from now on in. I think every single rookie that plays from here on out is going to be hard pressed to stay in the team unless they're a closey out of the box type, whether they're mature age. Bruce is in the team, Revel that is, of course, from Brisbane, because due to injuries, and he's got a role that really isn't really under any threat from other Brisbane players. So I'd be jumping on Juicy Brucey Revel, the sandwich press, aka let him cook. So I'd be getting him via Hells 100%. As you can see here, of course, for those people joining us late, jump into our Discord. It is a nice little thriving community where you can jump in, you can ask questions. There's, you can post your team. We've got Frogger the Dogger as well, who's one of our newbies who's just joined the Discord. Actually, I might bring it up on screen now if it lets me. One sec, let me bring it up. Share screen and window. Here we go. This should work now. So this is virtually the Discord for those people unfamiliar. As you can see on the left-hand side there, are the rooms where you can have a chat with other people. We've got the pod alerts. So once we put up a vodcast, there's a little alert that automates here. Just reminding people there's the cash leagues, keeper leagues as well for those people in them. And these are the general text channels as well. So general discussion, as you can see here, bit of a thriving chat, just going through players to field, speculating who can stay in the team on Sunday, etc., etc. There is a trade discussion room as well. So, obviously discussing all things trades, captaincy, VCs, game day banter for, just general banter, but normally goes in general discussion anyway. Injury discussions, any ideas and feedback that you may have to improve our platform, Discord, everything else. SuperCoach draft chat, isn't really much happening in there. But also the Rate My Team as well. So you can jump in there, whack in your team, and any questions that you may have, we can help you out with. But hopefully that all makes sense. Where else are we? So that is the link there. So make sure to jump into that via the link in the YouTube chat. I don't really like Cheese. Is Walsh still an option, Damo? Still feel like he's underscored a bit, but he passes the eye test, nearly back to original price too. Yes, I've obviously got him on my team, but a bit of sentimental value there because I love me Walshy, favourite player. But yeah, on the weekend, I have no idea how he scaled down post-game. Champion data, taking the absolute piss. If you watch the game, first quarter was incredible stuff. It was scintillating. He was everywhere, kicking goals. He was best on ground to that stage. Yes, his impact did waver a little bit for the rest of the game, but I mean, when we're scoring based upon impact with the SuperCoach scoring system, for him to be scaled down, just shitful. So anyway, still scored the 119. Happy enough with it, but still, had bulk footy, bulk goals, all that sort of stuff. So I think he is in line to finish as a top 8 averaging mid. He does it. The one thing I love about him is his high floor, high ceiling. The one knock in his game last year was the fact that he wasn't really... SuperCoach is not going to work now, is it? Not going to show me. Here we go, stats. He wasn't really tackling too much, but he's kind of up that side of his game, which is great to see. One thing that he isn't doing is kicking enough goals compared to last year, and he wasn't really having many marks last year, so he's kind of up that a little bit, albeit he has had a couple of games there where he had 0 marks. Hence the reason he's just around the contest 100% of the time. But I'm a big fan of Walshy, goes without saying. And yeah, I do think that he is value. And for what he can produce with that massive ceiling, yeah, I would 100% endorse it. G'day, Josh. You've said Sullivan or Brucey. Looks like Sullivan is a good chance to be sub. Yep, 100%. Hence the reason why I've gone for Bruce in my team. For that reason, and I think that there's more competition for spots in the midfield at the Pies compared to the injury ravaged Lions, who are where are we? Who are they don't have the depth in the role that Revel is playing, which is kind of along the wing, pushing into defence. So he's looked pretty good. He's been managed for time on ground at the moment, which is a bit annoying, but I do think that he is a better option compared to Sullivan. There's my team as well, just for reference. Also, would you go Zorko or Fisher? Was going to go Fisher, but rethinking now that Sheezel will come back. Yeah, I'd go for Zorko first and foremost, despite the fact that I think Zorko is going to get injured some stage, some way, shape or form. And I'm not as confident with Fisher being a keeper, whereas I think Zorko will be. So I'd be going for Zorko 100%. Have we heard anything on McKerch's timeline? No, I haven't as yet. If anyone has, let us know in the comments section. Ball me up. Thanks for joining us, mate. May have already been asked, but are you keeping Reed? No, he's gone, mate. He is out of my side because, as you can see here, he's allowed me to bring in Zachary Butters, that buttery goodness. So, I do think, if you are hard-pressed with scorers on the field, you could probably keep Reed. But, his break-even is, 130 odd or whatever it is. So, yeah, he's, what is his break-even? Yeah, 134. So, he's probably going to lose you money. And I think, he's not scoring as well as what he has been in recent weeks. And the big reason for that is, and the big correlation is, ever since Yo's been injured, he hasn't scored well. And it shows that his strength is his inside and outside game, but more so his outside game. Yo would get in, get the ball, handball it out to Reed, and feed him the ball. Without Yo being there, he's lost his one wood. Has good old Harley Reid, so he's out of my side. Josh, I can't lie to you. Your mid bench is making me throw up. My mid bench? Why is that? They're all playing, lad. They're all playing. Except, yes, I know that Clark is going to be he is the sub, but main thing is, as long as they're ticking over cash, midfield's donezo. So all those guys there are virtually there to make me cash and also provide a little bit of cover if needed, especially across the buys. So as long as they've got green ticks next to them, I don't care. When I'm with my baby, yeah, Brad. Darcy Jones or Sam Darcy in the rookie roulette this week. Ooh, it's a tough one, mate. We did bank on Darcy last week and it paid off chef's kiss wise against the Chigs as we predicted. But let's have a look at the old AFL defense V position. So the Giants, who are they playing? The Dogs. So Darcy Jones is probably more of a forward winger. So the Dogs give up positive correlation to sort of general forwards. Not really much to wingers, but you can probably count him more as a forward. And Sam Darcy against the Giants as well, obviously. Ooh, the Giants are pretty restricted to opposition key forwards and general forwards. So that there is a coin flip, mate. I'm not too sure. I'm playing Darcy on field myself. But it could go either way. So I'd say Darcy, but just because he plays a bit more on the ruck, elevates his scoring ceiling, and I do think he'd be able to kick a goal or two, and he's a nice mark as well. Whereas I think Darcy Jones, as we saw on the weekend, he can have those games up his sleeve where he doesn't score as well compared to his first two games. Josh, Hugo Garcia going to be another dud now. Yeah, I don't know, his emergency. I think Ross the Boss had to make changes due to the fact that they obviously have been in really bad form. So, yeah, he's just, as is always the case, like the young guys coming in are generally the scapegoats this time of year, especially if they didn't start the season in the team, which is kind of part of the reason why we can't rely upon rookies from here on out that are making their debut, because they can easily be made as a scapegoat, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, does make sense, but hopefully he can come back to the team. Tim, thanks for joining us, mate. A bit of an out-of-the-box option, but Goldstein with no Draper, with full ruck time, could be a good cash cow. With a 90 average, he should get to 500k, especially with Sweet being up in the air. Yeah, I would not really for me, mate, but I like the out-of-the-box thinking. Yeah, he's very, very cheap, but I generally don't like getting in guys at this price point because it does mean you're going to have to trade out, someone else above that price point. Or if it's someone below, you're going to have to fork out money from your bank, which I don't like doing because then that eats into your, obviously ability to bring in a primo with a less bank that you have if you're, forking out for guys like Goldstein at 370k. But yeah, I don't mind the thinking. He hasn't really shown the ceiling that he's had in previous years, especially the games, without Draper being there. So I wouldn't say yes to this. I'd prefer to go for a cheaper cash cow and yeah, or at least stick with Sweet. But I do like the thinking, mate. Josh, I didn't realise McAuliffe is back. Yes, he is. Thank the Lord. Tim, also side note, McKercher did say he was hopeful to be back next week in his Rising Star interview, but whether the North Docs hold him back, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I mean, North have the early buy from memory. Yep, round 12. So I just think, as has always been the case historically, where if a player's injured leading into buys, they kind of just keep them out for that extra week. And I can see that happening, obviously misses this week. And if he comes back for round 11, he's then out again for round 12. I reckon they'll just give him the extra week off and make sure that he's back tip-top shape, hunky-dory, especially with a hotspot on his foot. They don't really want to, risk it too much. So I reckon he's going to be out for the next 3 weeks. But who knows? He's going to be out for at least the next 2 of the coming 3 games, considering one of those weeks will be a bye week. So if it were me, I'd probably move him on. But if you've just brought him in, yeah, that bloody hurts. That hurts. Like Jackson Davey did. So yeah, it's just really bad luck. Cheesy. Sam Darcy will shit the bed this week. Can feel it coming, as if he's got lactose intolerance potentially, and eating some cheese. Is that what you're saying? The Giants is a scary matchup for forwards. Yeah, it is 100%. But when you're comparing it with Darcy Jones, I don't know. Maybe I should back in Garcia ahead of Darcy and use that as a bit of a loop. The thing is with Darcy, he's, as you can see here, he's currently on field for 93% of teams. If we compare it to Darcy Jones, Jones is on field for 30%. So, I mean, when you're talking about, trying to, I guess, edge your bets, I guess, in a way, you go for the guy that, is on field, is being fielded more by other coaches compared to Darcy Jones. If Darcy Jones scores well, there's a high risk, high reward with Darcy Jones. Obviously, only being played by 30% of owners, it's going to give you a leg up. But also, if he performs shit, Sam Darcy goes well out of the box game. Who knows? Bucks the stats trend. That could really hurt you. So I'm more of a fan of just playing the percentages in this case and going for Sam Darcy. But I totally get you there, Cheesy. Josh, Sam Darcy or Riley Garcia for my rookie roulette. Yeah, like I said, I'm going with Darcy, but I'm probably going to be looping Garcia anyway. So, yeah. Garcia is being played by, let's have a look, 71% of owners. So you could probably go with Garcia over Darcy. Not much of a difference there if you wanted to take a little bit of a calculated risk. I'd probably go with Sam Darcy still, just because he has that high ceiling. But I think the Giants, they're pretty restrictive to opposition key forwards and general forwards, being small forwards as well. So hard to say. That's a coin flip, Joshy. Dempsey's break even. It is 41. Jeez, he's re-energized his cash generation with back-to-back 66, 65. So well done to those owners that have held. And for Gold Coast, yeah, if you got him, you could potentially put the emergency on him if you got a loop and loop him on if he scores well. Jonas Stamo, I already have Randy Garcia and Blake Howes on field versus you in the Cash League this week. Let's have a quick look as well whilst we're here as well. Jonas, extra incentive. So that is you. Sloppy Joe Lamb Pipe, of course, nice reference to Hello Joe from the centre bounce, no doubt. I don't know what you're doing with the team here, mate, but what is going on? Interesting. I don't know what you're doing with the team there, Jonas, but you might want to try and work things out. I assume you're going with loopholes, but I don't know what you're doing. Why have you got Tom Green on the bench? Yeah, okay. I'm not even going to try and work out what you're doing. Jonas, doesn't surprise me to see a team like that though, mate. Where are we? It's 41. There you go. So Cheese has come through with the goods already. Thank you. I can't get rid of him, Josh. He's always having these low break evens. Yeah, well, he's a nice enough guy to have in your team, I think. Dempsey. Could be worse. Hoping he goes big tonight. Bellend, thanks for joining us, mate. I don't like calling you Bellend, mate. I don't think you're a Bellend. I think you're an absolute legend for tuning in. What would you do if you had a friend called Rubik's who took control of your team for a week and traded in Gorn for 713? Is that in terms of a Rubik's Cube, potentially? I think Gorn is a must-have, but at 713, that's a lot of money. And he's at 703 at the moment. That's a lot of money to be forking out. I didn't realise he's got a break even of 178. So probably should drop in cash, even if he goes bananas against the Eagles, which I think he probably will. But look at his previous scores, 93, 91, 73. So maybe not. But yeah, interesting, Bellend. I don't know what you mean there. Omissions and injuries have killed my trade plans this week. What do you think about Roberts, Reed, and Cadman to Fisher, Breville, and Zorko? Like Breville, like Zorko, don't know about Fisher. I'd prefer to hold off a week on Fisher, personally. if you can, even if it means you fork out a little bit of coin extra next week for Fisher. I'd just like to see how he performs with Sheasel back in defence and without McKercher there full time. So, yeah, for me, like he's only, like, look at his previous scores. His only big score he's had is in round 2 against Freo 101. So, yeah, I don't think Fisher's going to be a top 6 forward really at this stage. He might be a bit of a fool's gold, but I'd wait a week for him personally. Josh, my big call for the week is that Ryan goes under 110. 100% he could. I spoke about on the podcast that Ross the Boss Line he's the coach that undid Sicily last year. After Sicily posted a 171, I think it was, against him early in the year, in 2023. Then when they matched up with Hawthorn again, Ross the Boss changed his entire forward structure to accommodate quelling Sicily. Like they made sure to hit up guys on the lead, and when they did bomb it in long, they didn't bomb it in long aimlessly to Sicily being there to take it uncontested intercept mark. They congregated around the spot and made sure to force a contest. Mind you, Sicily still scored 104 or something odd, but was obviously well down on what he was projected, and hopefully, knock on wood, it doesn't happen to Ryan either. So Ross the Boss, don't be a prick, mate. But I don't think, considering the form that the Saints are in, I don't think they can flirt with form and try and restructure it, like their entire forward line to try and quell one bloke in order to try and win. But I mean, it is Ross the Boss Line. He does some crazy things. Jonas, Damo, have you seen Horse from Inside Fantasy Sports Supercoach? He's Gary Lyons. Mate, I thought the same thing. He does have a bit of Gaz Line about him. I like that call. I like it. Josh, is it fine that I'm trading Common? 100%, mate. I'd punt him on if you could. His break-even actually isn't too bad, though, now. 30. Has scored a 98, so that'll be in his scoring cycle for the next 2 weeks at least. So if you've held him to this point, I'd probably try and hold him so he can make you some cash at least one more week. But yeah, if he's going to afford, as I always say, if he can afford you to bring in a Primo off the back of trading him out, 100%, I'd be doing it. Axel, thanks for joining us, mate. Does it make sense to hold Graham rather than trading in a Revel or potentially trade out Garcia instead? I doubt he'll be selected again anytime soon. Well, we can't definitively say that, but I think, as I've always said, jump on cash cows as they crop up, the ones that look like they've got half decent job security. And we'll be able to help you across the buys. There's no saying that Graham's going to come back into the team next week, considering Gold Coast are on a buy this week. That is the VFL team. So Graham won't be playing in the seconds, and it's always hard to try and make your way back into the team after you haven't had any exposed form. It's happened in the past, I've noticed. So I've moved on Graham for Revel for that point, as it's allowed me cash to then bring in a Primo. You've always got to keep that trading cadence going. So yeah, 100%. I'd be looking to do that. I've just noticed the ticker at the bottom still there. Apologies. An hour into the bloody stream. Proetica, sell Graham or Rogers. I think Rogers has got some money to make, doesn't he? Yeah, I'd be keeping Rogers for the time being, mate. Even though he's out of the team, doesn't bode well. Told you to back me in and go for Garcia instead of Rogers, but oh well. Riley Garcia. Yeah, it's hard to say, mate. I think Graham will probably more chance of coming back to the team than Rogers, personally. But yeah, Rogers has only made 66k. And Graham will probably give you more chance of getting in a decent Primo, but yeah, hard to say. Josh, is Sweet playing? He's named on the extended interchange bench at the moment. So Vicentini's named on field, which doesn't mean much. It could always change. But hopefully he is playing. How long do we have to go? Under 10 minutes, ladies and gents. So make sure to make your changes as need be for tonight's game. Brody done with Sweet out. No, he's not out. He's just named on the extended interchange bench. So just keep watch of that with teams finalised tomorrow. Who should I bring in, Jackson or Marshall, which still allows me to bring Zorko or English and no Zorko? Yeah, wait until tomorrow, mate, to see teams finalised. But of those two, if you were going to go for a Jackson or Marshall, I'd be going, that's a coin flip really, because I'd be going for one of those guys if it allows you to bring in Zorko as well. Chriso, do I get rid of Graham or, yeah, same thing, Rogers? That's a coin flip, mate. It's hard for me to say because I don't know when they're going to come back to the team, if at all. It comes down to price point. But I think I'd be looking to trade. If you're struggling for cash generation, I'd be looking to trade one of those two guys for the likes of a Revel, like I've done. Because rookies are going to be sparse coming into the team from now on across the board, especially reliable ones that'll make us cash, but more importantly, have job security, which is more paramount this time of the year as we head into the buys in need of coverage. Team hasn't updated from last week on your end. Oh, okay, yep, gotcha, mate, on our head-to-head. I've always wondered that. It's interesting. Yeah, I think it only updates when the round is underway. Yeah, it makes sense. Holding Dogger has been a roller coaster, but with this sweet news, boy, it saved my ass. Who knows, mate? Sweet may still keep his spot. Out of Sheasel, McKercher, who I just brought in, and Harley, who should I trade? Keep Sheasel, 100%. Don't be trading him. I'd be trading probably Harley Reid, depending on who you have to cover McKercher. But yeah, just keep in mind that McKercher may be out for the next 3 weeks, which includes obviously this weekend. If he misses next week, and then round 12 is North Melbourne's bye. So, at least he's going to be missing 2 of the next 3 weeks if he plays next week. So, yeah, up to you, mate. But keep Sheasel 100%. Harley Reid, if you can, allow you to bring in a Primo. Likewise, McKercher as well. But it comes down to coverage across either of those lines for both of those dudes. All right, let's speed it up because the game is about to start in 7 minutes. Sam, if I wait a week for Fisher in Haftonfield a donut, okay, gotcha. I don't have enough coin to get to a Stewart, Nass, other treat, Primo. Any ideas? It's hard to say without seeing a team, mate. Sorry. But yeah, if you want to take a flyer on Fisher, go for it. So yeah. Otherwise, go for a Revel and go for a McAuliffe and swing Revel forward maybe. But it means you're fielding a rookie. So in your case, maybe you have to go for Fisher. I don't know. Best of luck. Bellend, any fear trading Reid a supreme talent that it starts clicking for him and he basically becomes West Coast best mid, effectively a keeper, or written that possibility off. Yeah, as I said earlier, without without Yo being there, it's really dented his scoring output, and it's evident that without Yo there to feed the ball to him, his scoring output ceiling has struggled, and likewise floor as well. So I'm not too worried really. Walk the Earth Dead. Hi, what about 2 rookies and a Primo this week? Revel and Sullivan. I prefer Revel over Sullivan. I'd probably go even McAuliffe over Sullivan, personally. I'd go Revel and McAuliffe over Sullivan. Jeez. Bellend, any thoughts on this? I'm 14th in my SuperCoach. Well done, mate. 250 cash league with... 14th ladder-wise, okay. With a 1-point win last week, but top 1,800 overall. Good work, mate. That's a massive score last week. Best of luck. McAuliffe will be best rookie. Tigers will invest time in him and their best young player. Yep, 100%. Should I? Should you? I don't know. Michael, with mid-season draft, I believe Brisbane has 4 spots open with Daniel Lloyd weighing up. Well, it's just come out today. Have a look on the AFL website that Daniel Lloyd actually isn't eligible for the mid-season draft, nor is Phillips, the former Essendon Carlton ruckman, because they effectively retired. They weren't delisted, so they don't qualify to be picked up in the mid-season draft. But yeah, that's something to factor in, I guess, for the mid-season draft. But we only really need Revel for across the buys. So yeah, I think he's going to keep his spot. I don't think they're going to pick up and have him play straight away. When they've got Revel, he's been on their list for, I think, 2 years now. He's been playing VFL as well. Category B rookie, and shown some pretty good signs at senior level. So I think for him, I think he should be fine. Rise, I've got 5 minutes to go. I've got $800,000. Which mid should I bring in? Look at the guys that have got on my team. If you don't have Bont, I'd be going for a Sarong. If you don't have Sarong, I'd be going for a Butters. If you don't have Butters, go for a Merritt. If you don't have a Merritt, go for Tookie Miller, who actually, mind you, could be a sneaky VC option tonight, but I'm going for Ryan. If you don't have Merritt, Green as well, go for Green. I'll probably rank them in terms of this: Bond, Sarong, Butters, Green, Merritt, Miller, Walsh, Steele, if you can go for Steele, but yeah, those are probably the main ones, and then Rowell as well, outside of those guys that I've already got in my team. So best of luck, Riser. Always a nice luxury to have when you got bulk bank and you're about to spend. Feeve, Fisher and Zorko, or Ryan and base rookie have to field everyone. I don't know what you mean there. I'd be always go for the top notch, and I'm not confident on Fish as yet. I'd be going for Ryan and a base rookie, especially Breville being that rookie. Rounding us out, we might wrap it up now because the game is starting in 4 minutes. Tim, should I go Reed and Powell to Stewart and Marshall, 28k in bank, or Reed and Graham to Merritt and Revel and 200k in the bank? I'm a bigger fan of having money in the bank to then keep that upgrade cadence going, like I've always spoken about in my team talk videos. You can see there I've got 144.3k in the bank for myself to try and get in Zorko next week. So I'm more of a fan of your second option there with Merritt, who I rate above Stewart and Marshall, especially facing North Melbourne without Will Phillips as a tagger, and then West Coast to come, and Richmond next week as well. So I'd be going for that. Gives you an extra week as well to wait on Stewart. If you wanted to, you can bring Stewart in next week with 200k. I have no doubt. And likewise, Marshall will probably go up in price, but Stewart you could probably wait for. And last one, show trades. Jake, you've come in late, mate, but here we go. Those are my trades. Graham out with DPP, bringing in Revel, the sandwich press, let him cook, and then using that cash to upgrade Reed via DPP to Zach Butters. That is my team. That is this live stream, ladies and gents. Thanks again for tuning in. We are kicking off the game in 2 minutes' time. So again, last warning to make any changes that you need to make. But thanks as always for tuning in. And likewise, as well, as I should probably do all the time now, if you haven't already, jump on to our... So I'm just typing in the background here because I just want to show you. For those people that want to feature on our upcoming episode, all you need to do is, where I share this tab, head on to Apple Podcasts, and up the top here, down the bottom, see there's reviews here. If you're able to leave us a review, if you can leave us 5 stars, it'd be absolutely fantastic. We'll give you a kiss on both cheeks. Give us a review, give us a rating of 5 stars, and we will read out your review. The more funnier, the better, all that sort of stuff. More in-jokes, references, everything else. That would be fantastic. And yeah, we'll give you a bit of a shout out. So let us know how you go. Best of luck as well across this weekend. And may your teams smash it and your rookies prosper and your primos flourish. So ladies and gents, thanks again for tuning in. All the best for tonight, for the weekend, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.